Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and today is a glorious day in Battlefield 4. DICE once again is making some more adjustments on the CTE version of the game. They're trying to test some things out, and the first thing that I am thrilled about is that the UCAV is finally getting nerfed. When I first saw the changes, admittedly, I didn't think that they were severe enough. What is happening is that now when you spawn in as a support class or with the UCAV, you have to wait 60 seconds before you can activate the gadget, before you can actually have this thing flying through the air. Doesn't sound like that big of a deal. I mean, they didn't do anything to its damage, they didn't reduce its splash radius or anything like that, and so when I admittedly first saw this patch notes, I was thankful because, you know, anything to reduce its power, I'm right there with it, but I just did not think that this was going to have that much of an impact on the gameplay. But then when I actually sat down and thought about these changes and the implications on how it's going to affect combat, it is going to be a gigantic nerf simply because it makes it way less convenient. First of all, 60 seconds is a significant amount of time. If you think about it, you spawn in on a capture point with a bunch of enemies around trying to take that objective from you. You may be able to kill a bunch of them very quickly, but because Battlefield is a fairly fast-paced game, if one guy gets a beat on you, you're going to be back at the spawn screen very, very quickly. Just even reaching that 60-second threshold, if you are playing the objective, is not going to happen very often. And while it's not going to be unheard of, like, because let's be honest, some people are around on the map without dying for 5 minutes, but the simple fact that as long as you are playing the objective and you are trying to get into the action, there are going to be a lot of moments where you're not even able to get to the point where you can even activate the UCAV, and it's for that very reason why we're not going to see a lot of these things flying around anymore. Not only that, but a large majority of the Battlefield community isn't going to be inclined to sit around for an entire minute just so they can use a gadget. That sounds boring. I'm sure that there are going to be some individuals out there that love the UCAV and they will endure that entire minute waiting in the deployment, but the vast majority of the Battlefield community is going to want to play the game. They're going to go seek out an objective to capture. They're going to defend an objective. They're going to go seek out someone to kill, and even if they are able to hit that 60-second threshold, they're going to be in a situation where they're probably not going to even be thinking about using the UCAV because they're in the thick of combat. It wouldn't even make sense to use the UCAV in that situation. And so hopefully it's becoming abundantly clear that while the gadget itself is still going to be devastatingly powerful, they haven't done anything to nerf its damage, and so if this thing flies in your face, it's still going to be an annoying death, but because its convenience is being slashed in half, it's really not going to be all that useful on the battlefield. Right now, the reason why it's as annoying as it is because a support player will spawn on in, he'll fling this into the action, get a multi-kill, and then he'll head and go play the objective. I really do think it's because of that convenience why so many support players opt to use the UCAV. Who wouldn't want to spawn in and get a free multi-kill? I would love to get a free multi-kill. And while I understand that I'm generalizing here, it doesn't happen every single time, because the ease of which it is just to do that every single time that you spawn in, I really do believe that is the reason why so many support players use this as their preferred explosive device of choice. And so I think that when they do take away that convenience, we're going to see a lot less of these things flying around the map. My one concern though, and hopefully DICE has addressed this, is that if you walk up to a commander crate and resupply your UCAV in battle, that it resets that 60-second timer. If it doesn't, and it works exactly like it does right now, we're still gonna have the problem with people sitting in the deployment with the commander crate flinging these things around the map. Not really what we're looking for. And so as long as that has been addressed and the fact that convenience has been just reduced significantly, I really do think that this is going to be a glorious day in Battlefield 4 when these patch notes finally go live, and I cannot wait when they do. One thing that took me by surprise is that DICE is going to be nerfing suppression a little bit. You know that optical sway that gets really annoying? Your weapon starts to bounce around when you are fully suppressed? Well, if you are using one of the lower powered scopes, like an RDS, the Cobra, for example, they're going to be nerfing that optical sway by 60%. That is huge, more than half. That is a ridiculous change from what it was before. The medium power scopes are also seeing a reduction, but it's only going to be reduced by 30%. DICE's reason behind this is that they want close encounter combat to not really be as affected as it is right now with the suppression effect. They want you to be very accurate, they want you to have that high intensity gameplay and reward you for that accuracy and not be weighed down by this random octable sway. As soon as you start to get into the more medium to long range combat, it is going to be something that you will have to overcome. DICE on the CTE forums basically flat out said that if you are using a bolt action rifle, that this is going to be a weakness if you are using the higher optics. They want to make it so that if you are playing or you're going against an assault user, the assault player shoots a bunch of bullets in your general direction, it's going to be more challenging for you to line up that headshot. And while I understand, and a lot of people really like this dynamic because it gets some nice interplay there, if you're playing as the assault and you know what you're doing, firing a bunch of rounds down range can save your life, but I find it a little strange because, well, you're using the bolt action rifle effectively, you're using it at a distance, which is exactly how you're supposed to use these weapons, but at the same time, DICE is going in and making them less effective because of that suppression effect. Not a game changer by any means, but I did find that a little bit amusing. And then lastly, and probably one of the more exciting things about this patch, is that it is paving the way for the night map of Siege of Shanghai. I cannot wait to get my hands on this. They are having some difficulties implementing it on the CTE. They were trying to all day yesterday to get this added into the game. Apparently it was broken, it wasn't working properly, and so we're probably gonna have to wait until Monday before they can start to add in that map. But look to the CTE in the next couple of days to be able to play on I think what they're going for is a true night map in Battlefield 4. They are adjusting the different lighting effects in the game. You're gonna be able to shoot out different lights on the map, allowing you to darken an area of it to get that true night experience, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's little patch update. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about all of these adjustments. Are you happy that they're going to be nerfing the suppression effect? Are you really glad to see that the UCAV is finally seeing a nerf? Let me know down below. But yeah, guys, until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.